I think the message from these elections is that the old rules of politics still apply, and that is that in a sort of an off-year, midterm kind of environment, the president's party often does poorly. The party that doesn't hold the White House is often more motivated, particularly when the president is unpopular, as Donald Trump is. And so the fact that not only Democrats not only won in Virginia and New Jersey, but in Virginia considerably outperformed the polls, did a lot better down the ballot than a lot of people thought. That's not necessarily shocking because this is the sort of thing you do see sometimes in an off-year election with an unpopular president. And so I do think it's a warning for Republicans that if the president's approval rating is around here this time next year, if the House generic ballot polling shows Democrats with a big lead, as it does now as a way of sort of setting the national political environment, that's when things can go really poorly, as they did last night, not just in Virginia, but really across the country in a handful of special elections and other things across the country. I think it's a considerable rebuke, and I do think that this has a lot to do with the president. And so I think, at least in the case of Virginia, that you did see nationalized results. I mean, it was funny. There were some little anecdotes of voters coming out of their polling places and being asked about who they voted for, and some of them couldn't even name Governor-elect Ralph Northam's name. They just said, "Hey, I want to vote for the Democrat because I don't like Trump," basically. I think it's dangerous to look at any single election as predictive of the future. I do think that the Democrats' bigger than expected wins in Virginia, and the fact that if you look at special election results across the country, Democrats are often, not always, but often doing better than Clinton did in certain districts. If you compare this year's results to her performance in 2016, that was sort of the opposite in the Obama years. Republicans are the ones who would run ahead of, say, Mitt Romney in those kinds of races. So it is indicative of a Republican enthusiasm problem, or perhaps more appropriately, a Democratic enthusiasm surge. Now, we're at the midway point between the last national election and the next national election to come in the 2018 midterms, so there's still time for things to be changed, but the Republicans have a lot of work to do to be able to prevent this sort of bad environment from afflicting them this time next year.